Hey everybody! So I am back this evening with a scrapbook process video using all the butterflies that you saw me make yesterday. I'm going to be working with a heritage photo today, and I am doing a layout that is going to be all neutrals. Which is going to be super fun and a little bit different, and I hope that you absolutely love it. So we're going to start with cardstock. I am using lunch bag cardstock from British Monroe. It's gorgeous. We're going to pull out my ginormous Misty, and we're going to start by using the Sentiments of Lace stamp set. Sentiments of Lace stamp set, I truly believe, is one of the best stamp sets for scrapbookers. So if you are a scrapbooker, this one should be on your wish list. This stamp set and the Build a Butterfly stencil that I worked with yesterday. So I am going to use two of the designs for this stamp set. I am stamping this border a couple of times using Raven black ink from British Monroe. I wanted to get really good coverage. I wanted really deep, dark black stamping. The reason that I would 1000% recommend this for any scrapbooker is, and I'm going to show you this right here. My little fuzzy head's going to get in the way. I'm so sorry, but you can line this stamp set up and it will make a continuous border. So I'm doing an 8.5 by 11 scrapbook page today, but you could do a 12 by 12 scrapbook page, whatever you like, and you can line it up and it will make a continuous border, which for me is always a huge plus. Like if I'm shopping for stamp sets, I am looking for things that have infinity edges so that I can use them on scrapbook pages. Ta-da! I can totally see this stamp set being an absolute favorite for a long time to come. You're gonna see it again, I promise you. So now I'm gonna flip my paper over and I'm gonna do a different border on the top. So I chose the thicker border for the bottom and then one of the thinner borders for the top. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna stamp the border, stamp a couple of times to get a really crisp, clean black impression. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my fuzzy red head into the camera one more time so I can match up the ends. And they match up super easy and so perfectly. I love it. I was so happy when I started playing with this. And I could tell when I looked at the stamp, when I got the stamp, that it would do this. But to actually see how easy it was to line up and keep going was just, I was so excited. So I'm going to go ahead and get my second impression here and get really crisp, clean border. And then we're going to move on to the next part. This stamp set comes with a set of layering stencils. Isn't that awesome? So I knew that I wanted to add a little bit of a detail just to the top border. And I'm going to do that with some alabaster pigment ink, and I'm just going to use one of the stencils. So I chose the stencil I wanted to ink up. And when you're using the alabaster ink through a stencil, just be very, very careful. So you want to just stipple, and you want to use just a little bit of ink. So just a little bit of ink and a little bit of stippling goes a long way. And that will keep the ink from kind of like smooshing underneath the stencil and causing all kinds of mess that you don't even want. Once you have done this, walk away. Just walk away. Just set your paper down and walk away. The only problem with that is, as a YouTuber who films, is that I then forgot to turn my camera back on when I came back to my paper and splattered. So I splattered using some chroma mist. I used white chroma mist and ornamental gold chroma mist. And I just heavily splattered both of those all across those stenciled pieces to give it that like kind of old vintagey sort of look. That was what I was going for. And now I'm going to create a little journaling box, and I'm also going to mat my photograph in some white cardstock. So this stamp set is from my stash. I've had it forever. I don't know who made it. I don't know. It's so old. It might be more than a decade old. I use it all the time. It has a permanent spot on my desk because it is perfect for journaling spots. Like, it's just the right size for me. So I am going to ink it up using some icing on the cake ink from Catherine Pooler. Wow, say that 5 times fast. And then I'm going to go ahead and mat my photo with just some white cardstock. And then I'm going to ink up the edges of the photo and the edges of the journaling spot with some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. And then part of the Sentiments of Lace stamp set, there are lots of fun sentiments. And the sentiments are so good because you could use them both for scrapbooking or for card making. So I grabbed this one that says celebrate this day, and I thought that would be perfect above my journaling, and then that's also going to act as my title. So I went ahead and did my journaling on camera, and I wish I hadn't because there is not a spelling mistake, but an error in the journaling, and I'll talk about that in a second. I decide where I want my journaling and my photo to be, and then I made these really light pencil marks that are just guidelines, and that's where I'm going to put the butterflies. So originally my idea was that the butterflies would look as though they were kind of flying out from my photo and my journaling. And you'll see when I put the butterflies down that I actually don't end up liking that, and I move it and change it up and make it a different orientation, which is totally fine. And make them another way. Okay, let's talk about the photo. So the photo is a picture of my grandmother. She is the baby on my great-grandfather's lap. This photo was taken sometime in 1931 or late 1930, early 1931, somewhere in there. And my grandmother in the photograph would have been somewhere between 9 to 12 months old. Now, when I did the journaling and I wrote it all out, I put 9 to 12 years. And I didn't catch it until after I'd already taken the photo, after I already loaded the photos in. So just for all of those who are going to comment and say, oh no, you have a spelling, an error in your journaling, it's all good. I grabbed a correction pen. It's already been fixed. So in my album, in my book, it's fixed. It's done. I've already fixed it. But that gives you a really good example as to why I generally do not journal on camera or journal before I take pictures, because inevitably I'm not really great at the English language, and sometimes I just mess it up and then I have to use whiteout and fix it all. Anyway, so I'm moving my butterflies all around. I didn't like them when they were splashing out from my photograph. They were okay, but I felt like the butterflies were too big. And I made a lot of butterflies. And I made a lot of butterflies in this color scheme, mostly just because I really loved the color scheme and the idea. And then I wasn't sure how many I would need for my layout, and I didn't want to run short. I'd rather have too many than not enough, because if I have too many, then I can always make another project. So I'm going to end up liking this orientation, but I decide I want another type of embellishment that's a little bit smaller to kind of work its way in between the larger butterflies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the die of the month, the Bottled Blooms die, and in that die are some smaller little dies that have butterfly. There's two different kinds of butterflies. There's a dragonfly. I'm going to show them here in a minute, and then I'm going to grab the mirror cardstock. This cardstock is from the Precious Metals cardstock pack, and here I'm showing you the two little dies I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut a bunch of those little gold butterflies, and then I'm going to kind of intersperse them in with the larger butterfly embellishments. And I'm showing you here I have two kinds of shimmer splash. I have the gilded, and I also have the brand new Raven. So I decided where I wanted those metallic butterflies to go, and then I'm going to go ahead and splatter in those areas with the black and the gold. I was totally okay with the splatter getting on the big butterflies, but because the gold cardstock, it has that specialty kind of, it's real, you know, it's like a mirror cardstock. I didn't want to get splatter on that. Once I'm happy with my splatter, then I'm going to come in and add in those gold butterflies. I trimmed off the butterflies that were along the edge, and then I'm coming in with just my dauber with some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. So it's just like my ink blending tool. I think it has the domed sponges on the bottom. I'm just going to go along the edge, and that's just going to create that nice kind of finished look to my page. And that is where we are going to call this layout all done. And that's what we're going to call this layout all done. I love these neutral colors. I love how this layout turned out. It turned out so good, so much fun. And I cannot wait to keep playing with these beautiful projects and sharing more of them with you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.